You did nothing today, and somehow you're wrecked. You slept in. You watched 3 episodes of something. You scrolled for a while. You told yourself you'd relax, and technically, you did. So why is it now 9 p.m. and you feel like you were hit by a truck? Your eyes ache. Your head is foggy. You're irritable for no reason. You did less today than on any workday this week, and you feel more drained than all of them. And here's the part that really gets you. A friend texts, "Want to do something?" And the honest answer is no. You have nothing left. After a full day of rest, your battery reads empty. That doesn't make sense. Rest is supposed to fill the battery, so either you're broken or something has been quietly draining it the whole time while you weren't looking. It's the second one. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is, why resting more makes it worse, and how to actually shut it off. Stay with me, because you're going to recognize yourself in the next 60 seconds. Let's start with the lie you keep telling yourself. You think, "I'm just lazy," or "I need more sleep," or the scary one at 2 a.m. "Something is wrong with me." All 3 are wrong. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are being taxed, and nobody ever told you the tax existed. To understand it, we have to go back to a cafe in Berlin in the 1920s. A young psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik is sitting there watching the waiters, and she notices something strange. The waiters can remember huge, complicated orders perfectly. 5 tables, no notepad, no mistakes. But the moment a bill is paid, the order vanishes from their memory completely. Ask them 30 seconds later what that table ordered, and they have no idea. The finished order is just gone. The unfinished one is crystal clear. So she runs the experiment for real. She gives people a series of small tasks, puzzles, little jobs. Halfway through, she interrupts some of them and makes them stop. Later, she asks everyone what they were doing. And the result is one of the most quietly important findings in all of psychology. People remember the interrupted tasks about twice as well as the finished ones. Think about what that means. An unfinished task doesn't leave your mind when you walk away from it. It stays switched on. It sits in the back of your head, using power, waiting to be closed. Your brain refuses to let it go. They named it after her. The Zeigarnik effect. An open loop stays open, and it keeps drawing on you until it's shut. Now, hold that thought and look at your actual day. The email you opened and thought, "I'll deal with that later." Still open. The message from your friend you left on read 3 days ago, meaning to write something thoughtful. Still open. The dishes in the sink. The appointment you need to book. The thing you said you'd start in January. The argument that didn't really get resolved, just dropped. The tab in your browser you're keeping open because closing it feels like admitting you'll never read it. Every single one of those is an open loop. And here's the sentence I need you to feel. Your brain is running all of them, right now, in the background, at the same time. Quick test, don't move, just count. How many unfinished things are quietly sitting in your head this second? The texts, the tasks, the "I really shoulds." Most people, when they actually stop and count, get somewhere past 20 before they lose track. 20 engines, all idling, all burning fuel, all the time. That is the thing draining your battery on your day off. Not the resting. The dozens of processes your brain never got to close, humming underneath the rest. There's a name for what that costs you, and it comes from a researcher named Sophie Leroy. In 2009, she studied what happens in your head when you switch from one task to another, and she found that you don't switch cleanly. A piece of your attention stays stuck on the thing you just left. She called it attention residue. You sit down to watch your show, but a sliver of you is still on the unanswered email. You try to enjoy the walk, but part of you is still in that unfinished conversation. You are never fully anywhere. There's always a percentage of you running maintenance on a loop you never closed. And now, for the cruelest detail of all. You'd think that when you finally sit down and do nothing, your brain would go quiet. It does the exact opposite. The moment you stop focusing on a task, a network in your brain switches on. Scientists call it the default mode network. It's the doing nothing network. And what does it do when it's on? It goes hunting through your unfinished business. The awkward thing you said. The problem you haven't solved. The loop you left open. That's why the second you lie down to rest, your mind gets loud. You didn't turn your brain off. You handed it the keys to every open loop you own and said, "Go." Doing nothing isn't rest for this machine. It's when the background processing runs at full volume. So let's name what's actually happening to you. You think you spent the day idle. You didn't. You spent the day paying a tax on everything you left unfinished. A tax you can't see, that never sends a bill, that just quietly withdraws energy in the background from the moment you wake up. Call it what it is, the idle tax. The price your brain charges you for every loop you left open. And the cruelest thing about it, you pay it hardest on the days you do nothing. Because doing nothing means none of those loops ever get closed. They just sit there all day, running, billing you by the hour. But here's the twist, the part that flips this whole thing around. Watch what you actually do to rest. You reach for your phone, you scroll, you start one video, then another. You open the group chat, half reply, get distracted, leave it. You see a headline you'll read later. You check 3 apps in a loop. Every one of those is a new open loop. Every unfinished video, every half-read thread, every notification you glanced at and swiped away. You didn't close a single loop today. You opened dozens more. Your rest wasn't resting. It was you, sitting still, opening tab after tab after tab in a mind that was already overloaded, and then wondering why you feel worse at 9 p.m. than you did at noon. That's why just relax more never works. That's why a whole day off can leave you emptier than a day at work. At work, at least things get finished. Loops close. On your rest day, nothing closes and everything opens. You're not under-rested. You're loop flooded, which means the fix is not more rest. It's the opposite of what everyone tells you. You don't need to do less. You need to close. And the beautiful part is your brain makes this almost unfairly easy because of a follow-up to Zygarnik's work. Researchers found that an open loop doesn't actually need to be finished to go quiet. It just needs a plan. In one study, people haunted by an unfinished task got that task off their mind completely, not by doing it, but simply by writing down when and how they'd handle it. The brain treats, "I have a plan for this," almost the same as "this is done." The loop stops drawing power the moment it trusts it won't be forgotten. So here's what actually turns off the idle tasks. First, empty the tabs onto paper. Every open loop in your head, the email, the message, the appointment, the vague "I should," write it down in one list. You are not committing to doing them right now. You're telling your brain it's safe to stop running them. Watch how much lighter your head gets in 5 minutes. That's 20 engines shutting off at once. Second, finish one small thing completely. Send the message, book the appointment, wash the one dish, not for the productivity, for the click of a loop closing. That click is the exact feeling your day off was missing. Third, learn the difference between rest that closes and rest that opens. Scrolling opens loops. A walk with no phone closes them. Netflix with your phone in your hand opens loops. One episode, phone in another room, closes them. Real rest has an edge to it, a clear beginning and a clear end. If your rest has no bottom, it isn't rest. It's just more tabs. So no, you were never lazy. You were never broken. You were just carrying dozens of open loops through a day you thought was empty and paying full price for everyone. The tiredness after doing nothing was never a sign that you did too little. It was an invoice, a bill for everything you left half finished, quietly running in the dark. You can't pay it by resting harder. You pay it by closing. So tonight, before you reach for the phone out of habit, try one thing. Open a notes app or grab any scrap of paper and write down every loop that's been running in your head today. All of it. Then close this one, this video, on purpose. That's one loop shut. Feel that? That small, quiet click of something actually ending? Chase that feeling. That's what rest was supposed to feel like all along. Every study in this video is linked down below. The real science, not opinions. And if this one hit home, subscribe, because your brain has a lot more stories like this one. And the next video is already on its way.